Good day, good day, good day. It is a good day. Can you feel the love, everybody? Show us some love with your emojis. And welcome to the best way to start your week, Mentor Monday, For Life's cornerstone weekly teaching event. On the call today are the powerhouse For Life couple that we love to bits, Gabriella and Dave Daughtrey. They're off a red eye from Ecuador, where they were working with team members there. So it'll be exciting to hear some of their stories. And today's topic is the four quadrants applied in NWM. And like you, I don't know what that means at all. So we'll find out. And I encourage you to jot down key takeaways, integrate the insights from today into your work and personal life, and we are graced by the leadership of the unparalleled Claudia Bohorquez. All of us at For Life are fortunate to have Claudia on the team, and I would bet every one of you have a story to share about how she has rushed in to help you, sat down to take time to encourage you, and made you feel like you could accomplish anything. Am I right? In the
Absolutely.
time I've known Claudia, she's become a confidant and my go-to for all things health and product related. She's dedicated to For Life team members, their education, their entrepreneurial advancement, and she truly, truly cares about our success and our clients' health and wellness. She's involved not only in Mentor Mondays, but absolutely every other For Life event on the uplinepro.com calendar for both the English and Spanish speaking teams. It's incredible. Her vigor and enthusiasm she brings to the table is just astounding to me. Her knowledge of For Life products, a result of years of making deposits into her own knowledge bank. And so please make withdrawals, as she doesn't charge any fees and her vault is always open. She's your go-to source for any questions you have about products, health, and the inner workings of For Life systems even. So please join hands in a round of applause for Claudia. She is a generous, genuine soul, and she is here to help propel you in your For Life business. Claudia, take it away.
Thank you. Oh my goodness, Siobhan, you are just so amazing. Who doesn't start the day right when you have a host like Siobhan, right? So, my name is Claudia Bohorquez, and for those of you that don't know me, I am in Canada. I am a Colombian, but I've been here for 24 years. And again, these are not the Canadian mountains, they're the Utah mountains, because soon we'll be heading there for our For Life convention. So, Mentor Monday, today's topic, it's one of my favorites. And for Chauvin and the rest of I guess I'd like to call them newbies or babies, NWM means network marketing. You can also call this industry multi-level marketing. And network marketing is, as the word says, the power of having a network, the power of working in a team, the power of leverage. So today's topic is based on a book that I believe every single person in their lifetime should read. And I don't mean network marketers. My husband, who has a master in finance, I told him, oh, I'm so excited. I'm going to prepare a talk on the four quadrants. He said, I actually had to do a whole um, a, a whole work, a whole program, not program, a whole an intensity program in his master's and his financial master's on the book and on the quadrant. And I thought, what a great thing. And he actually purchased the book for our children who are still little, for some people, because really this is like, if you have a child and they're under 12, they should already be reading the Rich Dad, Poor Dad from Robert Kiyosaki for kids. There's one for kids, there's one for teenagers, and it just teaches you so much. So, before I start, I'd like to actually introduce Dave and Gabie. So I'm going to put a spotlight on Gabie so she can say hello to everyone, and on Dave, and then you can give it back to me, Gabie. Let's just say hello to our people. And yeah.
Good morning, everybody. Well, it is morning here in California, and we actually arrived a little over 24 hours ago from our last trip here to Ecuador, and it was very productive meetings that we had. We had at least four, I think, Dave. But before I say any more, I do want to make a quick announcement before our our special runs out. If you live in the US, we have a cardio buy one, get one free. And Nathan just texted me telling me they have just a few left. So if anybody wants lives in the United States, buy one, get one free cardio. Oh my gosh, cardio is an amazing product. So you still have time to purchase it right now. So if you haven't bought your cardio or you feel you need more, buy one, get one free right now. And I recommend cardio for everything, cardiovascular wise. It is great for the health. So with that, thank you, Claudia, for this. This is a very interesting topic. I have that book somewhere, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. But you know, the best place to buy used books is not a used bookstore. Actually, it's secondhand stores. They're so much cheaper than if you go to a bookstore. So if you have secondhand like places to go, check out their book section. Sometimes you can find really good books, and for a fraction, sometimes you can buy them for like less than $1. Isn't that amazing what we put value on? Sometimes people just read the book and just don't want to have it in the library, and they just get rid of it. So
Getting books out of his trunk, and I'm like, dude, I don't want to take all your books. He goes, I don't want.
Okay, sorry about that. So Dave, can you please share with us something before we start? I can't hear you.
That was actually me that was making that noise. And I thought just for fun, I would kind of just to, I guess, to tee this off, do all of you know the story of how Rich Dad, Poor Dad actually made it out there?
No.
Robert Kiyosaki had written this book, and he tried selling it. Nobody would buy it. And so he thought, well, I got all these books, nobody wants them. So he went to a car wash. And you know how when you go in car washes, you know, there's a section there where they got candy and drinks and stuff. And he asked the guys, look, do you mind if I just put these books here? You know, nobody seems to want them. And he would go back each week. Nobody bought a book. And so when he went back to go just take the books away, they were gone. And so he asked the guy who was working there that day, he says, why'd you guys throw my books away? And he said, we didn't throw them away. Some guy came in and bought all of them. Well, it turns out that guy was the number 2 distributor for Amway. Y'all know Amway. I think everybody knows Amway. And that's where it took off. You know, an Amway distributor bought them, started giving them to his people, and then word just spread and it went crazy. And then, of course, and by the way, he did the game before he wrote the book. So if y'all know the cash quadrant, that was done before the book, but he didn't get it out there till after the book, but he actually had the game, the idea before the book. So I've got this video here, and I don't know if I can, Claudia, is it okay if I share it real quick?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me share my screen. Can y'all see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, move this over here.
Handing me books out of his trunk, and I'm like, dude, I don't want to take all your books. He goes, I don't worry about it. Nobody's buying them anyway. And 45 million copies later, it's the number one personal finance book ever.
So anyhow, that's actually not the video with the story, the full story, but that's the story. That's exactly how it happened. So
Nice.
So Claudia, I will give it back to you.
Okay, wow. I actually remember because he does tell the story in the book. So the first thing, like Gabby says, what I want to do is I want everybody to jot down the book. We're going to focus today just on 4 things, just to make it easy. It's like a summary. Once you know this, you will be able to understand where you're going to want to read the book after you see this. So I'm just going to show something here. Oh, messed up number 1.
Side. The book is about finding a home.
Second, please, not that.
Yep, you guessed it. Another talking head.
Technical issue. 1 second, please. I'm trying to show something and it's not showing what I want. I only have 1 screen and sometimes it's. Okay, there we go. This is the one I want to show you. Excuse my background. It's got other pictures. Just focus in the picture in the middle, please. Okay. So once you read the book, you will understand a little bit more. The story Dave will probably go over a little bit. It talks about a man that had a dad, and he actually says he had 2 dads. So he had his biological father, who was a doctor, and he had a mentor who he treated, and they treated each other like father and son, that taught him how the dad that earned a quite wealthy amount of money being a doctor was actually the poor dad. And the whole explanation is in this chart. And so we're going to work the chart really quickly. I'm going to pass it to Gabie just to comment on it, and then we're going to close it with Dave. So the quadrant is very easy. You can find a lot of videos on this, by the way, on YouTube, but it's basically this. The first quadrant, so the top right, is what a lot of us had been taught through generations, which is get a job. None of them actually are bad, and then it is just which style you're going to be. That's actually the question for today. So having a job has a lot of benefits. We're not just saying that having a job is bad. By the end of this meeting, you can make your own decisions, but having a job is actually really good for a lot of people. This is why you can't be chasing people that actually like jobs. Gabie and I were talking about this. They have a job because they like security. They like receiving their check every single month, even though the check doesn't grow a lot, but the safety of the check gives them safety, security, right? So that is fine. They also get, what do they get? Like you can start writing on the chat, vacation, right? Vacation that is already paid by the company. Do they get to choose what days of the vacation? Sure, sometimes with enough time, they can choose their vacation days. They also get benefits. So a lot of people chase a job because they want the safety of the health and dental benefits. Sometimes they get a little bit of stocks from their company, and sometimes they don't, depending on that. And they like going to work, like they like being in an office where there's more people, where they can be in their desk or cubicle or office or whatever the system is, and they like going there every day. It just provides safety. So many of the people I know were wired this way, and that is fine. You get paid for what you work, and you don't get paid if you don't go to work. That's it. It's the employee. Now, the second quadrant we're going to look at is the second one, the one at the bottom, which is the S, self-employed. So when you're self-employed, you have your own business. It's a smaller business. You have to still do the work. So this is, for example, coaches, people that are jumping from, I don't want to be in a job anymore. I want to have my own thing. So they take a course and they still have to do the work. So physiotherapists, dog walkers, dog groomers, veterinarians, insurance brokers, realtors, anybody that actually has their own. They don't have a boss anymore, but they still have to be there to make the money. So if you're taking the dog to a vet and the vet is not there, who's going to take care of the dog, right? So that's the thing, like the vet has his own business, but they still have to be doing the work. Your Zumba teacher, I always say the Zumba teacher, she has a lot of fun every day, but what happens the day that her back is hurting? What is she going to do with all those clients that day, right? So there's no leverage and you're still working for money. So that's the first two. That's where the majority of people are. The next system is business owner. And the difference between self-employed and business owner, these are the people that now have a business. They're maybe hiring, that's the vet, but now the vet has a clinic and maybe he has 3 franchises. So now it's growing, or it's a factory, it's any kind of business where now other people are working for that person. So there is some leverage because this person, she or he, can take a week, 2 weeks, maybe even a month off work. Hey, maybe they can even work offshore. And I have a friend like that. He lives 6 months in Colombia and 6 months in Canada. But he has to be in his meetings every day, so it's pretty good. He's happy. He's very, very, very good business back home. But they own a system. So the system is they have something that is working, and every day they have built it for them to work for them. So the system is now working for them. And the fourth one, which is the investor, now they own an investment. These are the people that they're getting paid from something that they built. So they built from, it can be a stockholder, it can be somebody that has several properties, or even one property and, is renting the rooms. That's already an investor. So if you fall under the business owner, you may or may not, but most likely have enough money to go into the 4th quadrant with it, which is the investment. So knowing that, and I wanted a little bit of information on the chat of who had seen the chart, who had read the book, who had never seen the chart. Did you understand the chart? So write it in the chat for Gabie and Siobhan and Dave and me, so we can see a little bit where we can take the conversation, because depending on you, we're going to take the conversation there. So I just wanted to make sure that you have seen the chart. If it's the first time you saw it, you actually understand the chart and you're like, oh, that's an interesting thing. I never knew. I want you to also ask yourself, in which quadrant do you think you are? Like, sometimes you're like, oh, I have my own business, but I don't know if I fall under, But the one thing I want also to know is, do you know where network marketing actually falls under? Is it the 3rd or is it the 4th, right? So, and Dave is going to help us at the end, solve that question, because a lot of people are still working on that. So very, very good. So Gabie, what is next? What do you think? What do you think? I know you talk a lot about this because you've been in 1, 2, 3, 4. So what do you think about this? And then I want Siobhan to give us her thoughts, and then we'll jump to Dave.
Well, I guess we all fall into this category, whatever category we want to be in. I've been an employee, and believe me, I actually sold more of my time for what I was getting paid, because I was getting paid a salary. And that's kind of a misconception. Yes, we'll give you a little bit more money to work a salary, but you're going to work whether you work 6 hours or 12 hours, or even taking work at home. I used to take my work home, because if I stayed at work, I would do my paperwork, but if a customer walked in, and obviously I was a manager, I would have to drop my paperwork just to go fix whatever problem they had with their eyeglasses. So I worked more than the people that were there with an hourly wage. So you, as an employee, you basically get paid what you feel you're worth. I mean, in San Diego, the minimum wage is different than it is in Utah, and so on, depending on where you live. So it is always good to have a side hustle. Okay, what I mean by that is something like what we do. Okay, let's say, Claudia, I give you a sample of energy, because energy is a high impact product. You're going to feel it the moment you take that product. You're going to feel energy. Okay, that's what I feel like, high impact product. And we're doing Zumba and you're like, oh my gosh, I loved it. I love the way I felt when I was doing Zumba. I felt like I was like the Zumba instructor. Okay, and then I give you information on my store. I give you my QR code. You buy it, you love it, you start telling your friends about it. They start loving and buying it, you know, but that's all you want. You just want to be a customer. Okay. Some people want to just do a business with it. So, but that's your side hustle, right? Now you love energy and that's your side hustle. But then you start looking at products. You start looking at, oh, we have skincare, we have the protein. Then you start trying protein, you start trying the protein bars, you start trying the protein powder. And then you start telling your husband that has probably a muscle man group, you know, on the side. And then he starts telling you, anyway. But obviously, you know, you have a side income that's generating income for you. Okay, but it's not for everybody. So this quadrant, let me make it clear. This lesson we're having today is in the book Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yes, the quadrant is in the book.
Okay, all right. So if you have not read the book, please do so, because I mean, I have the book somewhere, but I actually haven't read it. But in looking, I did a little homework when you told me we're going to do a lesson on this. Robert Kiyosaki makes a really good point. And that's why we need to read. We need to even look up on YouTube, you know, little lessons while you're getting ready. There's some lessons, you know, this lesson was, I was like 5 minutes. 5 minutes 5 minutes to get inspirational, to get motivated to learn. Now, this quadrant does have the one I was looking at does have a lot more. It has employee, and then it describes exchange your time and effort for an income. That's kind of what I just mentioned right now. But who does not want time freedom? Who does not want to work on their terms? Like us, you know, we went to Ecuador this last week. We were there for a week, okay? And we were able to be with our affiliates there. You know, we took some time to drive 2 hours for a meeting, and we went to lunch. We stopped and got some coconuts to drink. I mean, there's nothing like that. I mean, I think a few times during my employment time, I did go to lunch with the district manager, but my coworkers didn't. You know, I bonded with my district manager, but my coworkers didn't. In this business, we bond with everybody that wants to bond with us. We develop more than just a work relationship. We develop the relationship of, we're going to do this together. You know, I'll work with you as long as you want to build, you know, and we identify those people that are willing to work, that have the same mindset and dreams. So many people want time freedom, but they're not willing to work for it. And there's a difference. And I see it. Once you start seeing things differently, you make the time for them. You know, a lot of people, for example, this is family members. They want to make the check, but they're only willing to work till they have the mindset of the 9 to 5, you know? Okay, I'll work my business probably till 9 to 5. But you know, sometimes you have people that want you to do maybe a Zoom meeting or maybe that wants you to drive to LA to do a meeting. Obviously, I always say, if you get a minimum, if you're a new person, let's say you just signed up and you get a minimum of 20 people in a room, I will drive to LA and do a meeting for you. Okay, you have to be specific on what you expect from your leaders. Okay, if not, we'll do a Zoom meeting and see how many people show up. If you can't get 20 people on a Zoom meeting, I don't think you can get 20 people in person. Okay, so you need to kind of give that goal. Okay, and yes, work with your people, follow up, let them know, hey, we got a cardio special this weekend, buy one get one free. I'm going to tell you about cardio and what it does. You need to educate your people too. So I'm going to pass it over to Dave, Platinum of Platinums. What do you think about this? Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. Siobhan, Claudia said Siobhan. So I'm going to pass it over to Siobhan. And Siobhan, can you please introduce Dave?
I can definitely introduce Dave. Claudia, did you want me to make comments about?
Yeah, because the reason I want you to make comments, and everybody, it's because Siobhan is actually very new in network marketing, but she is already in the small percentage side of quadrant of business and an investor, but she has been in all. And so I want you to give me your thoughts of what you're thinking, because you have your own business, which is a not-for-profit. You can tell us a little bit about that, but how does it apply to, wait a second, I understand how network marketing can work for me. And then Dave is going to close it beautifully.
Yeah, like most people, I started out when I was 14 washing dishes at the restaurant nearby in the neighborhood and worked my way up. And I loved that $1.65 an hour minimum wage back then. That's how old I am. I think that's what it was, but it was great because I could go to, the big city, once a month and buy some clothes and, the fun things that teenage girls love. And then I got out of university, recruited into an insurance company, big insurance company. That I learned a lot there, obviously, about sales. And that's when I had a mentor. The first real mentor that I had, his name was Zach Catini. He was from the same university as I was, but he was my mentor in insurance. And he taught me something very important. There was this big old 100-year-old department store on the block that we worked on in this city that we worked in. And he would, when I needed motivation, he would say, come on, let's go for a walk. And he'd walk me around the block, and he did this on a regular basis because maybe I was too thick to get it in my head the first time. Was he said, Siobhan, don't be discouraged by people saying no to you, because this department store wasn't built in a day. So you have to realize that it's a process that you have to work through, and you go for the no. And of course, we all know that book, Go for the No. I actually have interviewed those authors in a previous life. And then I got into being self-employed, and I was self-employed on the side. You were talking about the side gigs. I started doing home fashion parties. I love that. You take all the clothes to somebody's house, and they'd have a party, and everybody would just be like flinging their clothes off and trying different things on. And I actually made a lot of money on the side. I was still working a regular job, but I had that side gig. And then I got into owning my own business, and it was so exciting. And it was a business because I employed people. I was in casting and film and television. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And I had a great run, and then it was over. It just sort of, you realize, okay, that's not where my life is going to go. And then I ended up with an inventor. And so again, owning a business and having an inventor in your life is a whole different ballgame, but it's a very similar thing to building any kind of business, because you have to go through the ups and downs, the pitfalls and the wins, and you have to keep going because nobody else is going to look after you, right? You don't have necessarily a spouse with a job. Of course, sometimes I had the job and sometimes John had the job, but it was inspired work, right? So, and that's where I'm at with the nonprofit. I'm in this time of my life where I am really inspired to help people who need to grow food for themselves and their communities. And I'm able to provide them with sustainable farm and garden systems to make their work-life balance easier, you know, their revenues higher, and you know, just do good for society, right? So I've been in all 4 quadrants, and I have never read Kiyosaki's book either, but I've lived it. So you know, I think that it's just a matter of allowing yourself to move through the quadrants and find what works for you. I personally love it's your own time. You can do what you want when you want. I mean, there's a few things where you're going to have to go to meetings, but if you don't want to go to a meeting on Tuesday at 9 a.m., well, you can block that time out and never have a meeting. And on Tuesdays at 9 a.m., you can go golfing or, you know, shopping instead, you know, go, you know, take care of yourself. You have a lot. I found that you just have a lot more time to take care of yourself than in the job, because when you're in, I found when I was in the job, I was, you know, driving an hour to my job and, you know, driving an hour back, and you weren't getting anything accomplished. But when you work from home, if you work from home, you have all that extra time to work on yourself and your relationships. And I think that that brings more balance to your life. And now I'm just going to pass it over to Dave Daughtrey, who is well balanced, I would say. Dave, from what I know of you, you've got the work-life balance down pat.
Thank you, Siobhan. I love your story. You know, that's one of the things that makes this so great, you know, in networking and meeting people and relationships, you know, beginning relationships, developing relationships, is we get to learn a lot from each other. And every time I hear someone talk about their past, what they've done, it's just, I'm fascinated by it. I'm honestly always curious. When I talk to people, I like to know what they do. I just find it I mean, I've met people that have sat next to me on airplanes, and I ask them what they do, and it turns out they're a famous movie producer. And I had no idea. In fact, I don't know if you've heard of Siobhan, if you've heard of Marcus Visidi, but Marcus, he was working on We're the Millers. It's a comedy with Jennifer Aniston and I forget his name, the other funny guy in there. I think it's the guy. He's not from the Office, but anyhow. So when I sat next to him, he was telling me all these movies he'd done, Rendition with Jake Gyllenhaal and Reese Witherspoon, and I was fascinated. And then I sat next to one guy one time, and we started talking. I was going to Ecuador, where Gabie and I just came from, and I was flying first class, which I'm blessed to be able to do. And we're flying down there, and I asked him what he does, and because I know that you're into agriculture, basically, that's what this guy did. He was going down to give a lecture on agriculture in Ecuador, and I told him what I did, and then his response was, "Oh, so you're a con man." And so that conversation was fun. But here's the point. You know, I think it's just nature of the human being that we all resist change a little bit. We don't like rejection. There are some people that are actually different. They enjoy change. And the reality is, life is about changing, adapting, developing, growing. And that was really one of my big topics on this trip down to Ecuador. Was, you know, I was, because, you know, Ecuador being a country where, you know, everyone, not everybody, but the majority of people are Christian. as Gabby and I are. I said, I felt that God put us on this planet for a number of reasons, but one of the main reasons is to develop, to grow, all right, to produce, be productive. And I love this business model because it pushes you to do that. So with these these 4 quadrants that we're talking about, if you think about it, because Claudia made the comment, which do we fall in? The reality is, in a way, we fall in all of them. And let me explain why. When you're an employee, you know that if you don't do your job, you get what? Help me out, somebody. If you're an employee and you don't do your job, you get, Donald Trump's famous for saying this, you're
Fired.
fired. All right. So the reality is, you take that very seriously because you don't want to get fired because you depend on that, and that's your income. And so, that's an employee, as Gabby mentioned, exchanging time for money. I used to tell people, and this is where I've learned, some of these things from this business. I used to tell people all the time, treat this as your own business. Well, most people can't relate to having their own business. So I tell people now, treat it as your job. Because if you don't do your job, you'll get fired, and you don't want to get fired in anything. And so I try to relate it that way. But look, I know we're not employees of For Life. They've got their employees, but I still like people to think about that in a way. You're employed, but the reality is you're self-employed. So in other words, an employee works for the system. Well, I kind of look at my daily job. Okay, I work for this system. We've got this system, and I know I'm not exchanging time for money, but I still like to have that mentality that if I don't do my job, I'll get fired. You see? And honestly, after 25 years, I still feel that way. I don't want to be fired. So I go to my meetings, I show up at everything. So that's just my personal attitude. But the reality is, the E stands for employee, exchanging time for money. Everybody knows. Doesn't take a genius to figure out that if you're going to work for someone else your whole life, you're not going to establish financial freedom or financial independence. And if you do, someone's crazy on the other side is paying you, because they're not supposed to pay you to get rich. They pay you to get enough productivity so they can get rich. And if it's a publicly traded company, it's all for the stockholders, the shareholders. So the reality is, no. We don't want to be employees, but I would like everybody to still think that way when it comes to your For Life business, all right? Then you've got the next is being self-employed. When you're self-employed, you are the system. In other words, you're dependent upon yourself, all right? And I like everybody to have that attitude. If it is to be, it's up to me, all right? So, but now you can get creative. All right. So you can start to do some things. And that's what I love about this business. Everyone's got ideas. Everybody's got their own vision, let's say, what they want to do. And that's why I'm not a controller. I do not like to control people. If one of you wants to write 20 books on network marketing, because you've become a legend or you're building your legacy, great, do it. That's your ambition. That's what you want to do. You see, but you are the system. Okay. And I've said this so many times. When you share your vision of For Life, networking, that was my other message. I'm a networker. All right. So I'm out telling people I'm a networker. Let me talk to you about networking. I understand there's all these tools. We got cell phone apps. We got all kinds of tools. But the best tool that you want to keep as sharp as you can is you. You need to be the sharpest tool in your toolbox. All right. People buy you first. They buy how they feel about you, if they like you, if they trust you, if your message is a good message. So keep that tool sharp. Sharpen it as much as you can. That's why we come to these Zooms. That's why we go to the meetings. And that's why we get out and we start talking and sharing and working, because the more action you take, the more involved you are, the more experience you get. The best school is experience, the better you get. It's a cycle. All right. So you are the system. right? People will buy you first, okay? Now, if you're a business owner, you control the system, okay? Well, we kind of do that too. You're in control. You are in full control of your for life business, right? You're the one that can create tools for people if you want. You can create, I see people create their own little systems, Instagram and social media and whatnot. And again, I'm not a controller. I like to learn from people. I honestly, I hate it when I see someone say that, look, it's my way. It's the only way. And there are people that think that. You can't listen to anybody else. Just listen to me. You guys, we learn from each other. If you get something by listening to Siobhan and that enriches you and it makes you, move, another notch up in your productivity and your development, wonderful. If you listen to Gabie, if you listen to Claudia, if you listen to Elena or me or whoever, this is all about a network of people coming together within our community. And we all have our goals and ambitions and aspirations, but by doing this together and learning together, it's a win-win. Everybody wins, right? So you control the system as a business owner. Now, what I love about what we do is that you're in business for yourself, but you're not by yourself, all right? So you're with a team of people, all right? And you get all the benefits of having your own business, but you don't have all those risks and responsibilities. And that's what I love about this. And I try to tell people, look, how would you like to work from home, have your own schedule, and not have to deal with all the headaches of employees and overhead expenses and rent and all the, the taxes you got? Like here we got what we call the franchise tax board in California, all right? Or the board of equalization, actually. It's a pain in the butt. If you're in business and you got to pay, I see Helena nodding her head, you got to pay the taxes on this and taxes on that and just all the work it takes. You don't have to do any of that. So you get all these benefits of having a multinational business with none of the headaches, but you're in control. All right. So that quadrant controls the system. And the last one invests in the system. All right. And I understand that could be someone that just basically puts money, into something and they're passive about it and they get money in return because they get maybe X percentage or an interest. Whereas here, you're investing in yourself. All right. When Gabie and I travel the world and where we go, For Life doesn't pay that. We pay it. It's our money. Those of us that are going to convention, our airfare, our flights, we pay it. All right. Well, we invest into our business. All right. But you decide what you want to invest, into your business. When I started making $1,000 a month in For Life, I was investing like more than half of it back into, whether it's my cell phone bill or back in the day of 1998, it was a number of things actually. I had a fax. I went and got me a fax machine because I had to send faxes to people. In fact, the reality is I had 2 lines. I went and called the phone company and for free, I said, what does it cost to put a line? They ran it from the phone pole outside, a wire in through my window, right? 2 companies did that. One of them from 7 o'clock at night to 7 o'clock in the morning, it was free. But during the daytime, it was 25 cents a minute. You know what I did? My fax machine all night long was sending faxes out. I was getting people calling me saying, blah, 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 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm getting a fax, blah, blah, cursing me out, but I didn't care. I was sending faxes out, at nighttime. Now, obviously, we don't do that today, but the point is, I was investing back in my business. So that quadrant is for the investor that's investing. We do it all right? Think like an employee. You don't want to get fired, all right? You work for yourself, all right? So being self-employed, you're a business owner, you're in control, all right? And you're also investing in your own business. So with that, I can talk, you guys know that. So I'll pass it back to Siobhan or Claudia.
Hey. Thank you, Dave. Claudia, go ahead. I love that.
All right. Well, we could do like a whole month of this topic and this book, but if we at least got you to get excited about getting the book, reading the book, understanding that there's nothing wrong with having a job or, wanting to have an investment or wanting to have that dream of having your own business. But the important thing, like I wrote in the chat, is to be happy and live a purpose-driven life. So if you know that you wake up every morning, and I want you to ask yourself that question, because Mondays is about that. People end up Friday saying, oh, TGIF. There's nothing more that I hate than a person that says TGIF. I do not allow the TGIF in my house. For those of you that are not in America, TGIF means thank God it's Friday. I'm like, what do you mean thank God it's Friday? Thank God it's every day. Don't say that. And so for me it's TGIN, TGIT, TGIW. Thank God you got to wake up this day. But if you are saying, oh, thank God it's Friday, then that means you're not happy with your job or what you do. And if you're not, then move to the next quadrant, look at something else that you want to do, because you can't change. You could try and change jobs, but normally if people are in the TGIF mentality, they move to the other job and it's like just jumping to another one. Grass is greener on the other side, and it's not. It's another job and you're still going to work 9 to 5. You're still going to have all the things that you may not like from the first one until you move to the next quadrant, and you move to the next quadrant. And that's why Siobhan did such a beautiful job in that. So make sure you are living that life where you wake up every morning and you are happy with what you do. And for life and network marketing is not about money. It's about helping people, like Siobhan said. So with that, I think Gabby wants to close us, and then I'll go to our next meetings. Gabby.
I just wanted to make a comment. Like I said earlier, I've been an employee and now we travel the world, there's a world of difference. There really, really is. I found a quote. It says, a leader makes people feel safe. A boss makes people anxious. And it's true. I think I was a boss, okay, once, but I also was, I wasn't the boss when I first started, okay? So there's good bosses, and I had a really good boss, okay? She taught me well. She taught me with patience. She taught me with she wasn't mean, and I was just lucky that way. Even my district manager. But you know what? I wasn't lazy either. I was really willing to learn. I didn't know anything about eyeglasses or vision or how the eye worked when I first started. And I was just lucky that I had people that believed in me. Okay, they believed that I could do this, and they gave me that confidence. That's the kind of networkers you and I need to be with our people. We can't just expect for them to do it on their own and make you rich. Okay, we need to take, like, let's say I just signed up Claudia. Okay, Claudia. Now we have, I want to sit with you and put your first order in, okay? What are your immediate needs? What is maybe the immediate needs of your children or your husband? How many LP would you like to start with? I recommend the loyalty program because you get an amazing product of the month for free, and you get all these other benefits that come with it. Explain to your new affiliate what they're getting in exchange for their loyalty, okay? Then you tell them, okay, I'm recommending skincare for you because you don't seem to have any other need at the moment, but skincare is great. Maybe throw in a Right Start in there and some collagen, okay? Just identify the needs of your new affiliate, and then explain to them, you can always change your loyalty order next month before the 20th. If the 20th is the day that you're supposed to have your order ship out, you can always change it the day before, okay? You can always change the day of your loyalty. Let's say you have a trip coming up and you need it by the 5th. You can always change it on the 4th, or no, you can change it, I would change it on the 3rd, so it gets shipped out on the 5th. So you need to educate every single person you sign up. That is your job. That really is, to help your affiliate grow, to give them the knowledge, okay? Teach them how to use the app. Teach them that through your app, you can send information, send videos, send your QR code, okay? Send them to your prospects, send information to your prospects. You just gave a sample of the energy or the collagen. Send your prospect a video on what, if there's a video available, not every product has a video, but send them information of what the ingredients are, because a lot of people ask you what's in it, because a lot of people are stuck there. They're like, well, say instead, you know what? I will send you a link to read everything that our products contain. And now I don't miss any. Okay, that's a smarter way of saying things. And they can see everything they want to see about that product. So just be more informative and follow up. Follow up is so hard a lot of times for us. We say, I'll call you back in 3 days, and sometimes you let it go a week. Okay, if you cannot call that person in 3 days, send them at least a message and say, what's the best time to call you? Or what's the best time to follow up with you? I was going to do it today. Is today okay? Make notes. Gosh, there's so much we can say. And I know Dave's an expert on the app too. And most of you are actually, if you've used the app. And actually the app is a very, very useful tool. And it's actually very fun to use. You know, the goal of our business is to have fun. I love what we do. I really do. And if you have leaders in other cities or other countries, you know, it's so much fun to just go and travel to see them, because like Dave always says, there's no substitution for seeing that person in person. And that's why we have conventions. That's why we have anniversaries, just to be able to meet them and see them and spend a little time. I mean, I'm looking forward to convention this coming month, and I'm going to be able to see J. Michael, and I'm going to be able to see Judy and Claudia. And most of you, if you're going, raise your hand, your digital hand, you know, please, I want to take a picture with you. And you know, their memories. I've got so many. I got millions of pictures of our first conventions and internationally. And it's like every picture we take with everyone is a story. I remember back when Juan Rosado and Damaris, those people, oh my gosh, Damaris has grown so much since the first time I met her. She is so confident. She knows so much about, obviously, social media. And I mean, if I asked her to show me, she would. You know, we all have our gifts. We all have our talents. And it's our job to teach our affiliates how to utilize them. So please, if you have anything to share with us that you don't see being taught on this platform, I highly recommend that you do, because we could all learn from you. So with that, I give it back to, I don't know if Dave has anything to say, or if not, I'll give it back to Claudia.
No, thank you, everybody.
Siobhan.
Keep going, keep growing. That's what this is about. And keep on coming together. Thank you for participating in today, or being here with us, Mentor Monday. And just invite.
And I want to thank Gabriella, Dave, and Claudia for an amazing meeting today. Mentorship Monday is something that I encourage you all to continue to keep on your calendars and come every week, because as we close out today's show, I want you to remember to keep the doors open to opportunity. It's exactly what I'm doing. I juggle a bunch of other things, but I love this group. You inspire me every time I'm on a call. I feel a kinship. I feel part of the group. And I would just suggest that it's easier to walk through an open door than a closed one. So if you know, you might not be doing the business full time. You might not even have made a sale yet, but keep that door open, keep coming to these meetings, because you're going to love what you learn. I learn something new every time, and I've been, you know, 40, 50 years, well, not quite 50 years working. So I just want to say thank you so much for the camaraderie you all bring to the table. And we've got our weekly English trainings, and all the times are on uplinepro.com on the calendar. And tomorrow, Tuesday, Dr. Ojina from Kenya, he's going to be talking about multiple sclerosis. And this is big in the news right now, because I actually was just watching something about Christina Applegate, who you know from Married with Children. She was Kelly Bundy, and she has MS. And there's lots of different actresses that have MS. So this is there, you know, there's something that you can learn from Dr. Ojina. And then, of course, we've got Red Hot Topics with Dr. Ronnie, and that is on Wednesday. And Wednesday also has a business opportunity meeting, so check that out on the calendar. Thursday, again, the business opportunity meeting. I love hosting those as well. It's just such high energy, and all the new people you can invite, all the people that you have been talking to talking about this opportunity to, and get them to come and sit in and feel the energy from the group here. And then on Saturday, Claudia once again is just sharing her weekend with you. I tried to get up early enough for it this week because I'm on Pacific time now, but she is sharing a quick half hour of health information. So there's some great information, and you can get into a conversation during that time, and you can learn about just about anything. We were having a great conversation last week about specific health conditions. So apnea was one of them that was brought up. So I want to thank everybody for joining us here on Mentor Monday. We will see you again next Monday, same time, same dial. I don't even think it's a dial anymore. But enjoy your day, have a successful week, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Siobhan. Everybody can unmute and greet Dave and Gabby and each other. And I'll be seeing those of you in Utah very soon.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, we see each other in Utah.
Everybody.
Thank you very much. Have a
Thank you.
Thank you, Gabby. Thank you,
productive
Siobhan.
week.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you all.
Claudia, our next call's at 1.
Uh-huh. In Spanish, for those of you in Spanish, we're going to do the same topic in Spanish.
Okay, we'll see.